Hello, fellow knights. Welcome back to another video. So, you guys probably seen the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. I'm assuming that, at least, I know there's a good portion of you who might have watched the sequel trilogy to Star Wars. If you guys have been following my channel, because some of the things I talk about a lot on this channel is Star Wars, Ninja Turtles, and I want to say like video game stuff, but more so like Kingdom Hearts. But do have a Kingdom Hearts channel called Phil the Keyblade Master, where I specifically talk about Kingdom Hearts stuff. But if you guys been around my channel or seen my tweets or whatever, then you guys would know that I'm not a huge fan of the sequel trilogy. I'm a fan of the Force Awakens, but not the sequel trilogy as a whole. I think the sequel trilogy as a whole could have and should have been treated better and done better. And I do think um that if they adapted a lot of what George Lucas gave them for like story treatments, then I think the sequel trilogy would have been better. Because from what I do know, is George Lucas gave them story treatments, and at least that would have had a plan, a middle, beginning, and end. What Disney didn't really have a plan, and I kind of felt that as the movies was going around, especially in Rise of Skywalker, and even like DC really like floated that concept around with saying that at first Rey was supposed to be a Skywalker, or not Skywalker. I think she was actually supposed to be a Skywalker maybe at one point. I don't know if it was supposed to be in episode 9. And then Last Jedi came out. She was nobody. And I actually do dig Rey being a nobody, like in terms of like didn't come from any special lineage, because that would have been a cool thing to say that you don't need to come from like a special family like a Skywalker, Solo, or a Ganna, Windu, to be special. But I know, like she was saying, for Rise of Skywalker, they were flirting with the idea of her being Kenobi, and then her being a Palpatine. In a way, making what Kylo Ren said true about her parents being nobodies, but her grandfather is a somebody. But like, okay, and it would have been great to have that like hints and bits of Rey being a Palpatine sooner. And you can't tell me that there were bits and pieces where Rey was shown to be a Palpatine in Last Jedi, Force Awakens. If you do, I will be telling you that you are on that special Kool-Aid, because I and a lot of people haven't seen that. There's no setup. At least with like the prequels, they were like we could see a little bit of a progression with Anakin becoming a Sith. Episode 1, he was accepted to being a Jedi. He had to say goodbye to his mother, and essentially goodbye to Qui-Gon Jinn, his first master. Episode 2, he had nightmares about his mother, and the Jedi were saying practically get over it. And but the time he got to his mother, she died in his arms, and he was on a rage, and he was expected to get over it quickly. Episode 3, he had nightmares about Padme dying. When he went to Yoda, he said, "Don't mourn her. Pretty much get over it. Let the Force do his thing." Like, bro. And even Obi-Wan said, "Your dreams will pass in time," when in episode 2 about his dreams about his mother. And then, if you want to go in the Clone Wars, them doing Ahsoka dirty. And them not really giving Anakin, which was evident in each movie, even in the Clone Wars series, both series, that the Jedi didn't really fully trust Anakin. So at least with Anakin during turning into Darth Vader, we saw that setup. We saw how the Jedi's mistrust was Palpatine's gain. So my point is, at least with Anakin, we saw the setup. Rey, we didn't. But I know, like, This isn't a Ray video. This is more like a Finn video. Sorry, I had to go on that rant. I know it has nothing to do with the what I'm going to talk about, but this actually has to do with Finn. And he's in the last few years, he seems like he's going back and forth with, oh, I love Star Wars. I hate Star Wars. I don't want to be in Star Wars. Oh, whatever. I'm like Star Wars kid. She seems very bipolar in that. Anyways, so he might actually be returning to Finn in the future. So let's see. So, and this was on March 23rd. I'm recording this March 27th. So, John Boyega confirmed to Star Wars fans at MegaCon Orlando that he's spoken to the new Lucasfilm boss, Dave Filoni, who is now the studio chief creative officer and president following the exit of Kathleen Kennedy. The specifics of what Boyega and Filoni spoke about were not revealed. What a fan yelled out to Boyega is to get Dave on the phone after he was asked about returning to Star Wars. As Finn, the actor, quote unquote, actually. Boyega debuted as Finn in 2005's Force Awakens and reprised in the other two films. His role in the trilogy led to a minor harassment from racist and toxic Star Wars fans upset that a black actor playing one of the leads. I remember that backlash in with the Force Awakens, like with a few people saying that, like, okay, whatever. Over the years, Boyega called out with both racist fans and Disney. And look, you're always going to get that. You're going to always get like people who are going to be racist, people who are always going to be sexist. But so that doesn't really confirm whether or not like John Boyega is coming back as Finn. I do think that they did his character dirty. Because Force Awakens, great potential. Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker dropped the ball, and there was still like they could have picked up the ball with Finn and Rise of Skywalker, which in a way I did by making him Force sensitive, but they only teased it. They didn't really pick up the ball in Rise of Skywalker. So they did my boy Finn dirty. What was I going to say? I do hope if John Boyega does come back as Finn, I do hope that he and the character will get treated better, or the character more so. Obviously, John Boyega as actor and person, but Finn will get treated better because Finn, I saw the potential. I love the potential, and Disney dropped it. So I'm hoping in this new movie or trilogy of movies that may have Finn in, hopefully they will flesh out his character. They won't turn him into a joke. They will actually have him being in his own right, the shit in his own right. Besides teasing in the Force Awakens, he's going to possibly be amongst the shit, and him being a joke of the trio that he was part of, essentially. So I think the character of Finn deserves better, and I hope John Boyega will sit down to Disney saying, "Hey, if I'm moving forward with Finn in this movie or a series of movies, or in voicing him in a future show like Oscar Isaac did in Resistance, then I need him to be treated like actual character, not like a joke." With that said, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you fellow knights later.